Hello everyone, my name is Samur and we are here to learn about how we can install Angular as well as Node.js and Visual Studio Code on a Windows laptop or desktop. Uh, Previously, we looked into the installation of, the same softwares on Mac. So today we are going to do the same thing, but on Windows. The purpose of completing this installation is for us to get ready to start developing cross-platform mobile applications. So let's begin. I'm going to share one of the documents which I shared previously as well when we were doing the installation on Mac. So we're going to do a similar kind of steps here again, but now the steps are more related toward uh, installing the same softwares for a Windows laptop or, for example, desktop. So let us start. As I previously mentioned, we need an editor. So we need an editor to write the piece of code related to the mobile application or the cross-platform application which we are developing, or the web application, or in general any cross-platform application. Typically, the most common software IDEs are Microsoft Visual Studio Code and Notepad++ as well as Atom. But normally, Visual Studio Code is the most widely used one. The IDE. Why people use this IDE is because it's very convenient. It has some very good features, and it is extensively used by the community. For example, for developing any kind of application. So here in our, for example, uh, the couple of apps which we will be developing throughout these sessions, we will also focus on the same software. Okay, so let us begin. So first, as the first step, we need to install the IDE, which will be Visual Studio Code that we will be using. And we will be running the steps now to install the same software on a Windows PC. So the first of all, we will install the Visual Studio Code, and then we will move toward installing Node.js and Node Package Manager, and then we will proceed toward installing Angular, and then we will install the Git that will allow us to push our application code on the GitHub, and then to clone the code as well from the GitHub as well. So let us begin with installing the Visual Studio Code. To install a Visual Studio Code, you can click here, or you can go on the Google and just type download Visual Studio Code. And just click on the first link that pops up, select your Windows, and it's going to download it. Once the setup is downloaded, you can click on it to install it. Accept the agreement. Choose the location. Create the desktop icon if you want to, and just install it. Follow the, just keep the recommended settings as it is during the installation setup. So once it's installed, you need to move towards the second step, which is about installing the Node.js. To install the Node.js, you can again you can either click here, or you can go to the Google, and on the Google you can just type here download Node.js. Okay, click on the first link that pops up, and here select the LTS version, and for Windows, and all of the settings are correct, and get the Windows installer, which will be a MSI file. Once it is downloaded, just click on it, and just press next, accept the terms and condition, choose the location. Default would be good location. All right, we don't want chocolatey, and install. Yes. All right, so these are the steps that we follow, and I also recommend that keep the Visual Studio Code pinned on the taskbar, because this is the editor that typically we use in developing not only the cross-platform application, which we will be discussing in this session, but also any other application if you want to develop, it would be good that you use Visual Studio Code. And I mean, it would be good just to keep it on the task, pinned at the taskbar. Of course, this is an optional step. If you want to do it, it would be good. Otherwise, it's up to you. Now here, once you complete the installation of Visual Studio Code, you can open it and then you can choose your default setup. For example, you want to use Copilot in your development, it would be good to choose it. And then you can also choose the other settings as well as per your liking. And then you can click on Mark Done. Once you're done, you will see this kind of welcome window that will allow us to open the project folder or the file which we want to edit, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is the first step which is done. Now, the second step is to install this. I believe it's also installed. Now I have to check whether it's installed correctly or not. I'm going to open a terminal here, open a terminal, new terminal, and I'm going to type here node v. So if I'm going to get some version, it means that the node is not installed correctly. Okay, it has not found the setup. Similarly, I can check the node v. So it means that it is not found. They are not installed. I believe the installation was, let me check here, the setup, next change is installed, repair. Okay, so let us just, it's installed. We're just going to close it and reopen it again, or I can open a command window to check whether the node is correctly installed or not. So node B, yes, it is installed. Actually, the error which we were getting because the Visual Studio was opened before the node was installed. So we need to close it and reopen it again, and it will work. All right. So these are the first steps that we need to do. So here, for example, in the terminal, you can check here. So just type in here and npm v. So basically, it's installed. Node package manager is not installed. Node because the next step is disabled on the system. For more information on this. All right, so this is one exception that we need to handle. So this basically we need to add a code to include the npm node package manager to be a valid entry into the Visual Studio Code. For that, we need to add this permission policy. So to update this policy, basically this line, if we add this line of code in a PowerShell, is going to allow us to use Node Package Manager in the Visual Studio Code. So here, for example, I'm going to type this. So I'm going to place it here and place this document over here, and just I'm going to type this line. So set execution policy and scope. Let me just drag this here. Scope current user execution policy is remote sign. Okay, once I press enter, it's saying that it cannot find. I think there is a. Let me move this. Yeah. So done. Basically, now if we close this and we check the npm here, I believe it's going to recognize it. Yes. So npm is recognized. All right. Okay. So the next step is to install the Angular now here. So basically, in this document, we followed the. Let me just full screen it. So basically, we installed the NodeJS. And once we complete the Node.js installation, we can check that if the Node.js has installed correctly or not, or the Node Package Manager npm installed correctly or not by checking their versions, which we already did. So it is installed correctly. Now we are using Windows, so we're not going to follow these steps. Essentially, these are the steps which allows us to check and verify the installation of Node modules in Mac. And these are also optional because now we looked into the other video as well, where we installed the same software for Mac. We saw that these links are not the ones which are currently used. They have been updated. So basically, even if you, for example, done this and you get an error, it's fine. Just proceed to the next step because these are some steps which are now not required for us to proceed in the Mac. Anyhow, on the Windows, we just need to add this security policy, execution policy, which we already did. And now we will proceed toward installing the Angular for our machine. So to install Angular, you can either do it in the terminal within the Visual Studio Code, or you can open the command prompt and just run this command, npm. Basically, we use Node Package Manager to install Angular for all the user in the machine by putting this flag -d. It means that to install it globally across all of the users. So on this machine. So basically, when you type this and then you just hit run and wait for the installation to be completed. All right, done. So to verify whether the installation is correctly done or not, just type here ng. And if it is recognized, it means ng is recognized, it means that Angular has been installed correctly. The next step is to install the Angular language service extension in the Visual Studio Code. For that, you can open the Visual Studio Code and you can click on this button here, extensions. And here you can type here Angular language service. So this is the first one which we need to install. Just click on install here, trust publisher and install. It's going to install this for us. All right, done. Now, apart from this, the next step is to install Git. Of course, you can click here to install the Git, or you can just download. For example, here you can click here, and it is going to ask you whether your machine is Mac or Windows or Linux. You can choose the necessary step. For us, since we are a Windows user, we can click here, or we can just go on the Google. So we can just type here install or download Git download Git. So we can click here. We can say that we are using Windows, and we can download it for Windows. x64 if you're using Intel, if your machine has an Intel processor, or if you have ARM processor, you can choose the respective one. Once the setup is downloaded, click here to install. Proceed with the installation steps. Press next. Keep the recommended setting as it is. Next. Okay, and just proceed with the installation of the Git. Okay, view release note. If you want to view them, you can just click next, or otherwise just finish it. All right. Okay. So I'm going to close this command prompt now, because all of the installation steps are completed. Okay. Now what we need to do is we need to go here, and we need to just check Git. It's going to recognize Git or not. Okay, Git is not recognized. Just close it and reopen it again, so that it is recognized here. All right, no folder open is fine. Just click toss this, open terminal, new terminal, and here, for example, type Git. So Git is recognized here, as you can see. Now the installation is completed for Windows. Now what we're going to do is we're going to download from Git. We're going to clone our project from Git. It will be a skeleton project. So basically, all of the application which we're going to develop now will be on those. Basically, instead of just creating an Angular project from scratch, we're just going to use the skeleton project. It has nothing. It's just a simple app, but we're going to put and all of the things, all of the features which we're going to develop in our application, we're going to put it in the skeleton app. Why we're doing this, why we're going to do this is because that application contains a lot of pre-installed user controls and components which we're going to use in order to develop our application. So instead of just creating or developing those user control again from scratch. We're going to use them in our application. They will be readily available for us to implement our application, our desired application. Of course, those controls are not provided directly by the Angular. For example, if you create a project, an Angular project from scratch, you need to create all of those controls by yourself. Or you can use basic HTML controls as well, like buttons, like labels, import, etc. But we have some other predefined controls which we can use already using that skeleton app, which you can download it from the GitHub. For example, to download this skeleton app, which I recommend so that you use it, you need to first of all go to the directory in which you want to download that folder. For example, I want to create all of my applications in a specific folder. So for example, if I go to the this PC in C drive, I'm going to create a folder, for example, mobile applications, or you can say cross-platform applications. It's better to say cross-platform applications. So in this folder, you can just go into this folder and you can put all of your applications over there. So first of all, we will download that skeleton application. We're going to put this in this folder. We're going to download it from GitHub. We're going to put it in this folder, and then we will rename it, and then we will develop the application as per our own desire. So we will do a couple of examples for that, so that you know how we can proceed with the necessary step. For the time being, I will just show you how you can download that skeleton app from the GitHub, and you can place it in this folder, and then you can edit it, and you can run your desired application, or you can build your desired application as per your desire, and install necessary feature into it. We will do all of those steps later on in the next couple of videos, but today I'm going to show you that you can download the skeleton project which I uploaded on the GitHub. You can just download that and you can put it in this folder, and in this folder we're going to put all of the other applications as well that will be built on the same skeleton project. Okay, we call that skeleton app as mstarter app. You can download it and you can put it over here. You can rename it, and then you can build your application as per your own desire. Today we are going to just download that application, and we will not rename it. We'll just open it in Visual Studio Code, and we'll just run it to see how it runs on the browser. Okay, so let us proceed with this step. So I'm currently, my terminal is pointing in the C drive. I'm going to go here and I'm going to go to that folder which I created, which was cross-platform application, or applications, you can rename it as well. So anyhow, so here you will just write git clone, and you're going to pass the path https github.com/taimurhassan/mstarter app. Okay, of course you can fork it or you can update it as per your own desire. I'm just downloading it from my GitHub repository. So it's downloaded here. So you can see it's over here. Now to open it in the Visual Studio Code, I'm just going to click open folder, not file. Okay, since this is a folder, this is a project folder, so I'm going to open all of it in Visual Studio Code. So I need to select open folder option. If you select open file option, it will just open a certain file for you in the Visual Studio Code. We don't want that. We want the whole project to be open so that we can develop the application respectively. Of course, in this session, we're not going to develop anything. We're just going to run it as it is, the skeleton app. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go into this folder. So remember, to open the folder, you need to be in this path. So for example, this is my folder in which I'm going to keep all of my application. And this is the mstarter app project which I downloaded. Now, you need to be in this hierarchy. You don't have to be in this hierarchy. For example, source. You don't have to be source. If you go into the source and select the folder, it's going to open a source folder. It's not going to open the necessary files which are there above the source folder. So we need to open the complete project. So that's why you need to be in this directory, mstarter app. Remember this. You need to be in this mstarter app directory. Just click on select folder here, and it's going to open the folder for you here. So trust. Okay, I trust the authors select this option, and this is the you can see a dashboard in which all of the files which are there in the project as well. For example, if you go inside, you can see these files as well. So they are open here as well for you, so that you can easily manage the development of your app. Now, this is as I told you, this is a skeleton app. There is nothing inside this. It's a basic skeleton app that has just a certain view. We're going to run it, but before running it, I recommend that you open a terminal, and within this folder, mstarter app, just run npm install this command is going to install any dependency which are there. For example, it's not necessary that you will have some dependencies, but always, for example, whenever you are working in an starter app project, I recommend that you run this step so that if there is some dependency, there is some file which is missing or which is not updated, it's going to update and install the necessary step for you. So always run this step. So once this step is successfully executed, just type ngserve. So ngserve is going to run your application in a web browser. So it's running the application on localhost 4200. You can just select here, or you can just go here in the web browser, what web browser of your choice. Just type here localhost colon 4200. You can put HTTPS in the start as well. If you don't put, it's fine. So this is the skeleton app which we were talking about. Okay, so we are going to develop the application in this skeleton app for in the next couple of videos, when we are going to study different component and different features in the in the cross-platform application territory. But all of the application which we are going to build in the next couple of videos will be on this skeleton app. All right. Okay. So this is these are the steps which are required for the installation. Now it's running. Another thing. So since Angular is a web technology, web framework, so typically whenever you by default run the app, it is going to run in a browser since it's a web app. But since we are going to develop a cross-platform application, later on we are going to study how we can develop, for example, once the app is developed, how we can deploy that app on a mobile phone, on a mobile device, on the tablet, etc. as well. We're going to study these steps later on when we will proceed towards the advanced topics. So, but for the time being, just remember, whatever you develop in a web app, for example, whatever you develop in this web application, in this skeleton application, once it is successfully completed, once you have tested it, the same thing you can develop it. You can just deploy it on the on your mobile device, for example, or on your tablet, so on and so forth. So, I mean, this is the beauty of cross-platform, that you just develop a single piece of code, and once it is developed, you can deploy it in any device of your choice. So we are going to see that later on. But I mean, first of all, essentially, we will develop the application in a web browser, and then we will port it to the mobile devices as well. We will do it only once. I'm going to show you the steps how you can do it when we will specifically be using native services and device sensors. So I'm going to show you how, for example, if you want to use a camera, if you want to use the GPS of a mobile device, so on and so forth. So I'm going to show you how you can build your cross-platform application in Angular and then deploy it on the, for example, your mobile device. But rest of the application we will develop in the web, but the same process which we're going to study for the native services to deploy it on a mobile device, we can follow the same steps in order to deploy any application which we develop on a mobile device as well. So that's it for this video. So in the next video, I'm going to show you what kind of services and what kind of feature we're going to use in order to develop the applications in the context of developing the cross-platform applications. And then we will proceed toward developing the application itself. Thank you so much.